Name something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house.
Naked grandma!
Naked, huh?
I don't want to see that either.
Grandma!
That's the occupant person that's there.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark, and this is Breaking the News, a show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. With me are four brilliant stand-ups from Scotland and beyond. On my right, we have Mark Nelson and Felicity Ward, and up against them are Elaine Malcolmson and Liam Withnell. In the news this week, Brendan Rodgers has presented Pope Francis with a Celtic strip during a private audience at the Vatican. In return, the Pope gave the Celtic manager a magnificent cross, which Kyogo just couldn't find an out with. A password left in a slip of paper was lost by a Ministry of Defence worker at a petrol station. The head of the MOD has promised this will never, ever happen again, according to a document found in a Burger King toilet. And a man who had chopsticks shoved up his nose and lodged into his brain for 5 months says he has no idea how they got there. One thing's for certain, that's the last time he gives a 1-star review to the Happy Noodle House. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Mark and Felicity, can you tell me what this is all about?
Leaked documents suggest
Rishi Sunak
has been using
the Elgin Marbles
to strike oil and gas deals.
Mr. Sunak
Hasn't denied using the
ancient Parthenon sculptures
for fossil fuel agreements, but says private meetings are private.
Well, there we go. A lot going on this week. Mark, any thoughts as to what our first story might be?
Yeah, it's our Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, was supposed to meet with the Greek PM, and they cancelled the meeting because there's a chance that the Greek PM unfairly would ask Britain to return stuff that we'd stolen from his country.
Right answer, well done. Yes, it is the diplomatic spat of the week. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis said that the Elgin Marbles being in London was like the Mona Lisa being cut in half. Having said that, some people quite like the idea of splitting famous artworks like the Last Supper, especially Jesus, who only had a starter. So there we go, Mark. Well done in getting the right answer. Are you surprised that the Elgin Marbles have caused an international incident?
I am. I'm quite surprised at Rishi Sunak refusing to give them back, considering how keen he is to get everything foreign out of the country.
Felicity, what do you think?
First of all, Rishi needs to make this good. He needs to meet up again, and he has to look into his Indian heritage, and he needs to find common ground between Indian culture and Greek culture and bring things together. He could say, how many people were at your wedding? And the Greek PM would say, 300. And he'd say, me too. And then he'd say, do you have an overfeeding mother? And he'd go, yes, oh my God. It's like, do you like yogurt and cucumbers? Like, we call it Ryder, we call it tzatziki. There is more that unites us than divides us. You know what I mean?
I love that. International diplomacy. I'm all for it. Elaine Malcolmson, are you surprised that the Elgin Marbles have caused an international incident?
Some people are saying that they're trying to use it as a distraction from the immigration policy issues facing the Prime Minister. I say use it to draw attention to the Prime Minister's immigration policies. For example, there are 17 life-sized marble figures included in the sculptures. Are these people skilled workers? Did they arrive by boat? Yes. Send them back.
Assessment has been done. Liam, what are you making about this then? Are you surprised that the Elgin Marbles have caused an international incident?
I'm always surprised to see Elgin in the news. Douglas Ross is the MP for Elgin, isn't he? And I've seen him in his referee little shorts, and I've seen his Elgin marbles, and... If Greece wants them, Greece can have them, quite frankly.
If all the artefacts, though, have to be repatriated, what should we put in our museums instead?
I think if you just make the gift shops and the cafes a wee bit bigger, most people won't notice.
Liam, if all the artefacts have to be repatriated, what should we put in our museums instead?
I think we should just try and be honest about our own history and fill these museums with the crimes of the British Empire and try and teach people, you know, what we've done.
Sorry. As an Australian, I absolutely love to hear this, quite frankly.
You know, the first room could be the partition of India, you know, and the second room could be the Irish potato famine. The third room, the life and crimes of James Corden. People need to know, you know.
Horrifying stuff, Liam.
Do you know, I think that Rishi Sunak really wants to do the right thing and return them, but he just wants it to be a big surprise. And everybody's ruining it. And he should have had the meeting, fair enough, he should have had the meeting, and if they brought up the return of the sculptures, he should have said, well, we'll just have to wait and see what Santa brings.
There you have it. Well done, Mark and Flick. You get 2 points for that. That was the diplomatic dispute between Greece and the UK. So, Elaine and Liam, over to you now. What was the other story we were after?
I think this is a story. The host of COP28 planned to use climate meetings to promote deals for its national oil and gas companies.
Spot on. That's a great shout. It's the right answer. Yes, it is the story that leaked documents have suggested that the hosts of this year's COP28 summit, the United Arab Emirates, plan to use climate meetings with other countries to promote deals for its national oil and gas companies. COP28 President Sultan Al Jaber has since denied the allegations, saying they are false, not true, incorrect, and not accurate. Sultan Al Jaber is also the chief executive of the national oil company ADNOC, which is the biggest conflict of interest since the new chair of the Vegan Society was announced as Bernard Matthews.
I did enjoy their defence that private meetings are private, and they followed that up with, you're not my mum, my dad would beat your dad in a fight, na-na-na-na-na.
Glasgow hosted this big event a couple of years ago. Do you think these huge COP meetings are really worth it?
They're worth it in theory, but if you've got the people running it with exterior motives, then it's not worth it, you know? So, like, swimming lessons are worth it, but if the person giving the swimming lesson is a hungry crocodile, slipping on salmon armbands, then it's probably not worth it.
Not so much, yeah. Does make sense. What do you think, Mark? Obviously, we've hosted COP a couple of years ago in Scotland. Do you think these huge COP meetings are worth it?
Not really, because they're just, I mean, it's just they're paying lip service to it, because they promise various things throughout the meetings, and then by the end of it, it will get scuppered by... And it's always the same. Like, when you hear about do you hear who scuppered the climate plans that were agreed on the COP? Like, who was it? China. And you go, what? China? The biggest economy in the world? Are trying to not make... Like, it'd be good if they went, do you hear who scuppered the plans? Faroe Islands. What? The hell's their problem? Like...
Liam, what's your radical plan for saving the planet?
I'm going to reframe your question a bit there, Des. Is the planet worth the effort? It was Spotify Wrapped Day yesterday, and multiple people I know had Taylor Swift as their #1 most listened to artist. Why am I using a paper straw to save these people? Burn it all down.
Felicity, what would be your radical plan to save the planet?
Remember, we're just spitballing here. First thing that comes to me, get rid of men. Now, look, that... Hear me out. It sounds misandrous, but that is only because it is. And that... Here is the the thing. We call it Mother Nature, and I think because we think of it as a woman, we treat it like a woman. We treat it terribly. We take all its resources and its best years. And really, if you think about it, this is all retribution. The storms, the floods, the fires, what are they but Mother Nature's menopause?
Scotland's net zero minister, Mary McCallan, is in Dubai for the conference. So my main worry is that she manages to find a Wi-Fi hotspot to watch the football. Yes, well done, Elaine and Liam. You get 2 points for that. It was the mashup of the row over the Elgin Marbles and potential oil deals at COP28. And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. Now, so much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show, journalist and YouTuber Claire Johnston and beatboxer and actor who can currently be seen on The Scots, Big Taj. So, Elaine and Liam, what do you think Claire is on about here?
Well, in Scotland, we have enough of our own of these to contend with, really. I mean, my folks are from Peterhead, and growing up in Edinburgh, as I did, when we had relatives down to stay and my friends were over, they used to ask if they were German because my relatives would be going to them, "Fit like, oh me, fit a bonny quine."
Second languages, right? There's been some controversy. I think University in Aberdeen is maybe they're stopping funding their language course, something like that.
Yes, the French, German, Spanish and Italian consulates in Scotland have written to the University of Aberdeen raising concerns about potential cuts to modern language courses. Aberdeen University said it had seen falling demand for language degrees and is looking at the future of these courses. So from now on, any Aberdeen students wanting to learn a completely different language will have to take a gap year in Shettleston. Liam, well done in getting the right answer. How important do you think it is to learn a second language?
Well, I've been here about 15 years, and I have to say I've learnt a little bit of Scottish, I guess you could say. Oh. Yeah, even Aberdonian that was mentioned there. Fit like loon. That means like how are you, right? That's
yeah.
Fit like loon, like how you do. I'm gonna boot you in the balls.
What does that mean?
I actually can't remember what that one means.
That's brilliant. Oh, Felicity, what do you think about this? How important is it to learn a second language?
¿Cómo? Yo no hablo inglés. Joking, I speak a little Japanese. I think it's very important to learn a second language. I first found this out when I was 23 and I went to Paris for the first time with my friend. We bought some cheese from a shop and then we got it home and it was off. And so we took it back and we tried to explain to them. I didn't speak French, they didn't speak English, and we were like, the cheese has gone off, it's not edible. And after about 20 minutes, we found out it was supposed to smell like that. Yeah.
What do you think about this then, Elaine? The consulates got involved in this. Did you know that this would be the sort of thing that they would get involved in?
It's an interesting question. Should consulates get involved in language teaching in Aberdeen when it's such a grey area?
What has been your biggest foreign language faux pas?
When I first moved to Scotland, I'd never been here before. It was a new, exciting world to me. And I was going on a road trip, and someone asked where I was going, and I pronounced it. I said, I'm going to Loch Lomond.
I made the same mistake with Cockburn Street.
Oh, Mark, what has been your biggest foreign language faux pas? Can you think of an example?
Yeah, so when we got married, me and my wife, we had our honeymoon in Paris, right? And for years, I had told my wife that I could speak French. Now, I had done a higher in French. I got a B, so pretty much fluent. But this was the first time that this was ever going to be tested. So we got there, and my wife had forgotten her hairbrush, right? So she said, we need to go to a chemist. Can you ask them for a hairbrush, right? So I meant to say, I need something for my wife's hair, right? Which is, je voudrais quelque chose pour chevaux, right? What I actually said was, je voudrais quelque chose pour cheval, which is, I need something for my horse.
Little known fact, but French is actually widely used here in Scotland, such as saying ooh la la whenever one of your pals orders a cocktail. The drop in demand for language courses was the right answer. Well done, Elaine and Liam. So, Mark and Flick, it's your turn now. What do you think Big Taj is talking about here?
It is going to ruin a special day. Don't know how we're going to cope. I know that there's so much drama in the world right now, and this might be really small compared to everything that's going on, but I am devastated. My plate, needs to be full, if you get what I'm saying.
Is it something food related and not enough food and farming or something?
I will give you that, yes, potentially. The most shocking news this week, our Christmas dinners could be at risk due to vegetable shortages. Heavy rainfall has meant waterlogged farms and a drop in crops, including potatoes, broccoli, parsnips and sprouts. Felicity, hearing that, are you worried about our Christmas dinner?
Well, I actually did read something about how it's a record low of 4.1 million tonnes of potatoes to eat. That is all you have left. I am not worried about Christmas dinner. I am worried about your heartburn.
Elaine, what do you think about this news? Are you worried about your Christmas dinner?
Yeah, the British potato harvest is expected to hit a record low. They've already set up a charity collection point in Ireland to collect all the tears that are going to be crying. The Wolf Tones are releasing a charity Christmas single, The Fields of Ross-on-Wye.
Mark, what do you think about this then? Obviously, it's such a worry, it's had a lot of headlines. Why do we make such a big deal out of this one meal a year?
Because it's the one time every year you get to sit down at home in the place you grew up with the people you love and you realise why you left.
We've already touched upon this. These are the meals that you remember. So let's see if our panel can tell us about their most memorable Christmas dinner.
I'm thinking back to COVID Christmas when my mother phoned me and said, we're not all going to be able to get together for Christmas this year. You're going to have your own Christmas with your partner, just with the things you like, and just putting on what you want on the TV. And it was the worst Christmas of my life, because I know I'll never know happiness like it ever again.
Brilliant. Mark, have a think back. Tell us about your most memorable Christmas dinner.
My mum is a very, very good cook, but there was one year where I don't know what happened. She got the timings wrong, and she burnt the turkey, right? And as she brought it to the table, everyone was quiet, and my dad just said, "Bold choice this year, Linda, switching from turkey to blackbird."
Love it. Yes, worries about our Christmas dinner is indeed the right answer, and 2 points go to Mark and Felicity. You're listening to Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. This round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So Mark and Felicity, you're up first this time. Who is this?
Politicians are human beings. We're fallible. We make mistakes and we make errors. And I'm sure that the inquiry will have an opportunity to look in detail at many of the errors I and others made.
It's Michael Gove.
MP and nightclubbing legend, yes. Michael Gove. This week, Gove has been giving evidence at the UK COVID-19 inquiry whilst apologising for government errors. He also said, as we heard, politicians are human beings, we're fallible, we make mistakes and we make errors.
He said a lot was asked of Matt Hancock's department. And you go, but that's the health department. Like, it's not like COVID happened. We go, tell you who we're going to leave this to, the boys in the Forestry Commission. Yes, that's it.
Elaine, did you expect an apology from Michael Gove?
Not personally.
Liam, are you surprised? Did you expect an apology from Michael Gove?
I'm always surprised when I look at Michael Gove. He's quite a surprising figure. He kind of looks like someone's tried to draw brains from Thunderbirds from memory.
He did say that people make mistakes and all that. What do you think about this then, Elaine? What do you make of Michael Gove's notion that politicians are only human?
Has anyone proved that? It made them select all the pictures that had the traffic lights in them. I don't think they'd manage.
The conversations, obviously, around the inquiry are things that should have been done differently during the pandemic. So, Felicity, if there was anything you would have done differently during the pandemic, what would it have been?
I would have tried to be more considerate. It was the third lockdown. I think my husband said to me, honey, I love your animal impressions, but maybe you could save 10% of them for your friends.
What's the bit? No, I can't ask you to do any. No.
Pick any song, I'll sing it like a chicken.
500 miles.
Easy, done it before. All right. All right.
Thank you very much for those wonderful memories.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Well done for getting the right answer. It was Michael Gove giving his evidence and accounts to the COVID-19 inquiry. Jacob Rees-Mogg was also due at the inquiry, but was up all night with three spirits, trying to teach him the true meaning of Christmas. Right, Elaine and Liam, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
I just want to work on things that are good, and I'm proud of the fact, I would say that when I was 16, I really feel that way now.
Timothy Chalamet.
Well done, that's the right answer, Liam. Yes, it is actor Timothy Chalamet, who this week has been stepping out on the red carpet at the world premiere of his new movie, Wonka. The actor spoke up about not wanting to mess up the iconic role, previously played by Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp. Wonka is the backstory of Willy's early life before getting his own chocolate factory. The film shows how he met the Oompa Loompas, Fickelgruber and Miss Bonbon whilst doing his apprenticeship at Tunnocks. Felicity, a lot of people talking about this film, but does the world need another Willy Wonka?
I am very in support of remakes. You know, like America remade The Office, and that is a very beloved show, and that was very successful. And they might make more remakes of that show, and there might be an Australian one, and they might come under scrutiny because the lead might be a female this time. And I'm absolutely bricking it. Next year, The Office is coming out in Australia. It's a remake and I'm the lead. And so I just say, let's be nice to Willy Wonka and Timothy Chalamet because he's doing his best and he might be under a lot of media scrutiny and who knows how this is going to go. Know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine, yeah. That's fantastic. Mark, what do you think about this then? Does the world need another Willy Wonka?
I think it does, but no, I don't want to find out the backstory to Willy Wonka. I want to find out what happens to him after the original film when the authorities storm in and realise he's essentially been running an illegal sweatshop with foreign workers, paying them very, very little and making them dance for him.
Well, in this country, they'd give him an OBE.
Also, in that sort of food factory environment, he should have been wearing a hairnet.
That's the biggest concern of the whole Wonka factory. Obviously, part of the Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory story is the golden ticket to the factory itself. But where do our panel want a golden ticket to? Elaine?
I've always liked Largs.
Mark, what about you? If you could have a golden ticket to anywhere, where would it be?
I would very much like it to be like a Wonka thing, but it would be the Tennants factory, right? So there's a river of tenants running through. I, Augustus Gloopin, just drink my way out of tenants. And also, it would be easy because you'd just ship in the Oompa Loompas from Govan. Because it's just tiny wee orange men with flutes. So,
Timothy Chalamet is the right answer, and 2 points go to Elaine and Liam. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
This place is at it again.
There you go. That's SNP Westminster leader and MP Stephen Flynn there. Fingers on buzzers. Here we go. 98 what arrived at the White House this week? Felicity.
DPD deliveries because the next door neighbours at the Capitol weren't home.
Left it by the bin. Great answer. Not right, though. 98 what arrived at the White House this week? Liam.
Is it Joe Biden's medication for his memory loss?
98 what arrived at the White House this week? Mark.
Cheeseburgers because Trump forgot to cancel his subscription.
Oh, brilliant. 98 what arrived at the White House this week? Elaine.
Invisible ducks.
That's not the right answer.
Prove it.
And I can give you the answer. It's actually what we're looking for is this. 98 Christmas trees arrived at the White House this week.
This place is at it again.
Oh, there we go. That's our klaxon. Stephen has flinned. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Mark Nelson and Felicity Ward. And commiserations to Elaine Malcolmson and Liam Whittle. And we'll leave you with the breaking the news. Breaking news just in. The BBC News at 1 is to be extended to an hour, meaning people will now have to wait longer to see doctors, making it even more realistic. Dog rescue centres fear the number of abandoned Bully XL dogs will rise if vets cannot cope with the demands of a ban coming into effect next month. To be allowed to stay, dogs will have to be chipped and neutered. The same deal the 1922 committee offered Boris Johnson. And a blouse worn by Diana, the Princess of Wales, for her engagement portrait is up for auction. The garment was donated by the Burrell Collection, and by that we mean it was found in the attic of Paul Burrell. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye!